edition of the Sports Lounge for this year. We got Charlie Hildebrand here, Travis Kriens, Marcus Straxler, Drew Ahmed.
Maybe for the last time, who knows?
Probably for the last time. Cheers to you.
Only you would toast yourself.
We start to the show.
That's good. Very good.
Toast to Drew. We start the show with South Dakota State basketball. The men on a streak here, a win against North Dakota on Thursday puts them to 10-3. Very impressive for them. The women, not so much. They are struggling at the moment shooting the ball. Start first with the women. Is it the competition or is it more them?
Well, I think both. When we saw the Kansas State defense put a lot of pressure on the perimeter players, I think that's where a lot of their issues kind of lie. But they missed a lot of shots inside on Saturday as well. So this ball pressure kind of a deal. I think, yeah, they lack somebody who can facilitate an offense and get it.
Can anybody create their own shots?
Sonnenberg can if you can get it to her. I mean, on the block. But aside from that, no. I mean, she's got a wide array of moves once she gets it on the post. But from there, no, they have a lot of jump shooters right now. And they have some freshmen who, yeah, maybe they'll evolve into something where they can slash the basket. Right now, they can't.
Yeah, they lack those creators. I mean, they you know, Jill Young's a jump shooter. She hasn't been able to get open in some of these, you know, tougher games. And you alluded to Jenny Sonnenberg, who had a future performance Saturday. I think it was 1 of 13 from the floor. But I do think a lot of it is also who they're playing. You keep in mind in their most dismal offensive performances of recent history have come against, you know, teams like Cincinnati and teams like Kansas State. So yeah, they're playing tough competition, and they're getting relatively manhandled by that competition. So it's I don't know. It speaks to, you know, they don't really have a true point guard yet, and that really hurts them in games like that. You know, but then the thing is, they have good wins too already. You know, they've beaten Utah State, they've beaten Washington State, they've beaten good programs. So it's kind of a Jekyll and Hyde thing with them right now. They're either going to play really well or they're going to play really bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think a big part of it is obviously who they're playing. You know, playing some big name teams with really good athletic defenses. And I mean, you got to remember too, this isn't the team that went 30-3 a few years ago either. I mean, they're good. They're good enough to win the conference, but this isn't going to be a team, you know, that's just going to wipe clean everybody they play by any means.
And what we kind of learned last year is that it doesn't really matter until you get to the conference season anyway. I mean, this was a team that, if you would have asked me at the end of January, what seed will they be in the conference tournament, I probably would have said like 5. And then they turned around when I think 8 of the last 9, and that was pretty much that. And then they went as a 3 seed, and in the tournament, they're right back 3rd straight year. So I think they have some kinks that they can work out, and they have time.
Yeah, and AJ always seems to have his teams playing the best at the beginning of March. That's been historically the way it's gone the past 2-3 years. You know, they have some things to fix or some things to improve on. That's for sure. I mean, they're shooting good free throws as a team. I mean, you can look at that as a positive. And you know, they got to find a way to utilize Young's ability to score from the outside. They have to find a way to harness Sonnenberg's, you know, offensive ability, because she has some. It's lacked at some points this season so far.
If you are a team that's obviously overmatched going up against South Dakota State, why would you not press them full court just to begin the game?
I wouldn't go with a full court press because literally every college basketball team can break a full court press.
I have not seen this one be able to do that with any effectiveness.
No, I would say
since Will Roberts broke that sucker out a couple years ago at Frost. No.
I would say some sort of trapping defense where you're half court, you're geared towards trapping them towards the sideline, you know, the half court line once you get them across. That's different because I think, and the fact that we've seen simple man-man pressure will kind of disrupt this offense as well. So, yes, I don't think you can sustain a 40-minute full court pressure on this defense. But if you mix,
you won't need to because you do it for the first, you know, 10 minutes or whatever. Force turnovers, get them down double digits, then you just back it off and go to it, you know, when they cut it down to single digits again.
No, you're right. That's clearly a weakness for them.
I don't know why more teams don't do it.
I agree. I'm not sure why either. What Oral Roberts does against SSU was probably the best
And they do it
strategy.
well.
Yeah, and they do it very well. And the Jacks always struggle with Oral Roberts in a regular season and well, in any time they play him. So
I mean, but part of it is think of the personnel that Oral Roberts has. They
yeah,
have
they get
3
great
fast
guards.
Middle Tennessee State, who's notorious for obliterating the Jacks.
Good guards.
Great guards. Kansas State had pretty good guard play. They were able to pressure the ball. Who else in the Summit League has guards like that? Nobody. That's why they
I
don't
don't
do
think
it.
it
Well,
takes that much.
I think
And not
you
just
have to have
that.
those players. If you don't, the press or trap isn't going to be very good.
Well, and not just that, if you don't run it regularly, you're not going to be able to do it as well. And also, it puts so much more wear and tear on you. You're just going to have people worn out. I mean, it's kind of like you see it in basketball games where someone will make 2 or 3 full court layups in a row and say, well, why don't they do that every single time? It's like, well, I mean, they're still getting tired doing this. You can't play, doing that unless you're designed to do that the entire season. It's tough to just, whip it out in one game and be able to run it effectively.
And a lot of teams at the Jacks level lack the depth that they have, that the Jacks have 1 through 13. So you don't see it, as frequently. No, ideally you would think that's what teams would at least try to do right out the gate.
Take a girl that doesn't play, say you're in for 3 minutes, go balls to the wall. You're playing 3 minutes this game, your job is to piss them off as much as possible. That's all you got to do.
I mean, I think it's like a lot of things in sports. I mean, the theory of it works. I mean, I don't mind the theory of it at all. It's just being able to execute it properly that you could run into problems with depending on your personnel.
They have Arkansas Little Rock on Friday, then they really get heavy into conference season. They go down to Nebraska for a couple, losses down there. But the theory here to prepare themselves for Summer League play by playing this tough competition. Talk about the theory behind this. We'll take the losses, but we're playing better teams, and will help us in the conference when we play lesser teams.
I think it accomplishes 2 things. One, prepares you to play better than maybe you would if you just played an average schedule. Once you reach the Summit League play, once March comes, you've played tough teams, you've been in tough situations, tough environments, so on. That's helpful. 2, the Jacks, I think, learned it last year. They played about the same type of schedule, maybe a little easier, and they got a 15 seed in the tournament. Any of these games can help you maybe get a seed higher when it comes to the end of the year. Clearly, that's something that AJ schedules with those teams in mind.
Yeah. Well, it's high risk, high reward. Now, if you beat Kansas State at home, or you beat a team like Cincinnati, you beat teams like Utah State, Washington State. There's a balance there. Yeah, there's that reward. Okay, you get that nice looking win, on your schedule. That can help you too in the postseason. So that's how they look at it. They look at the rewards of it, not we might get banged up, and lose this game by 18. They look at it more as a challenge. It's the basic nature of competition, really. Challenging yourself, and in that way, even if you lose, you see improve even by losing. I think that's kind of what their thinking is behind that.
Yeah, I pretty much agree. I mean, I don't have much else to add. I mean, if you play teams that are better than you and you can at least hang with them at times and do stuff, you're going to get better at doing it, and it's going to prepare you to play the teams in the conference. I mean, I think Kansas State, would win the Summit League if they played in the Summit League. I think they're better than anyone else in the conference, and you're going to get better playing games like that.
The men, they've taken kind of a different route. They're undefeated against non-BCS teams, and they played a couple of non-qualifiers, if you want to call them, D2s. They play a North Dakota team that's near the end of their transition. Looking at 10-3 if they win on Thursday night. Is that better for them to build confidence up, knowing that, hey, because they had a couple, not Western Illinois, don't expect much out of them. Tough win on the road for them that has not come easy in recent years, and a good win at IUPUI, even though that one did get away from home. They were fortunate to win that one over.
Well, I think it is beneficial, especially with the young team that the Jacks have, relatively young, is to play teams that you can beat fairly easily, or at least schedule a mix of good competition, and they've had that. They've gone to Minnesota, gone to Georgia, they've gone to Nebraska, they'll go to Washington. Those are at least challenging games, and that's somewhat helpful. And if the ultimate goal, I think a goal has to be get to 20 wins. They're halfway there if they beat UND. I mean, somebody asked me last week, why don't the Jacks play, they're watching Oakland and Tennessee, why don't the Jacks play, all these teams that Oakland play. I said,
because we have a football team and Oakland doesn't. That's why.
I didn't get into that, but
that's why more.
Look at IUPUI, who has 2 or 3 wins this season, 2-8 or 3-8. That's what you're going to get.
Yeah,
playing Georgetown, playing Louisville, playing you name it. They play tough competition. You can't expect your players to grow emotionally, physically, whatever, if they're continuously getting beat. That's why the Jacks don't play that kind of schedule, because they're not ready for it.
Well, yeah, but but at the same time, you can allude to the fact that, okay, well, they've played 3 power conference schools already. We're not even at Christmas. I think it's, I think it says something. I don't think the Jacks schedule cupcakes. I don't think North Dakota's an exact cupcake type team either. I mean, they've played Western Illinois close, down to the wire there. I think did they play IUPUI? And if they did, they played them very close. Some
UMKC.
It's UMKC. I mean, I think North Dakota, if you put them in the Summit League, they're not top tier contenders, but they're an all right team. They have skill. It's just the Jacks just kind of, like Nagy said, well, we kind of played a perfect game.
They would be at the bottom of the Summit League.
Near the bottom.
They are the
6,
worst.
7, 8?
They are the worst of the 4 Division I.
Well, I kind of disagree. I think North Dakota is better than what we're giving credit for. But the point is, the Jacks do play challenging games. We can't. I don't think you can look at the schedule and say, oh, they've played weak competition. No, they've played well. They're a good team, and they're going to beat teams like North Dakota by 35 on a given night at home. We'll see how they do on the road with them, but I think it's an example of just a good basketball team that Nagy's finally assembled. It's taken 6-7 years, but he's finally really got it, and they can beat an NAIA team with their freshmen and sophomores and win that game by 35.
And I think if you're a mid-major team like South Dakota State, they have roughly, about the perfect schedule you could ask for, where they do have a lot of games that would be, quote-unquote, easy, gimme games, but also a fair amount of games. They've got 4, like it's been said, against BCS schools, all teams that in the last 3 or 4 years have at least been, around 20 wins and making the NIT at least. And, they've been to the NCAA tournament.
Except Nebraska.
Yeah. So, I mean, not that they're all elite schools, but, it's not like playing the equivalent of Duke in football either. And, I think with all this going together, they've got a good chance to kind of build upon this. And I think there's a good chance they'll be better than they were last year.
A preview of True False: will the women finish with a better seed than the men?
In the conference tournament?
Who finishes with a better seed? Men or women?
I
think the men finish with a 3.
I kind of feel women at a 3 too. I think they'll both have a 3 seed.
I'm going to go with the women with the 2 and the men with the 3.
We'll get more True False questions next. We'll have a trivia segment. The next football of all varieties coming up next on the Sports Lounge. Go from a round circular ball to a long oblong object. Football. We're going to start with the bowl season. It's coming up this weekend. Why do we love the bowl season, these games? What are maybe some of your favorite memories of the bowl games?
Well, as we've kind of learned in FBS football, non-conference, don't always schedule the toughest teams you can. You get some unique matchups in the bowl season. And Notre Dame, Florida State is one that kind of intrigues me.
Notre Dame, Florida, Notre Dame, Miami last year.
Yeah, that's a matchup that you don't get anymore. They used to play. I think that's kind of fun to get matchups like Wisconsin and Oregon in the Rose Bowl. That would be fun. So what is probably one of my favorite bowl memories was just last year, the Tennessee, North Carolina, Music City Bowl disaster. Drew and I were talking about it last night.
Yep.
That Tennessee,
19 guys on the field.
Tennessee trying to get a last-second field goal spikes. They've got like 14 guys out on the field, and North Carolina's got like 15 guys.
The whole.
That was pretty fun.
Very good. Very good. I'm kind of the stupider the bowl, the more irrational likeness I have for it. So, what would that be this year? I mean, to me, PapaJohns.com bowl is always way up there.